Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 10th, count it, 10th episode of Collegeville Conversation. I'm your host, Jason Phelan. Now, I haven't really done an NFL episode yet, and it's basically halfway through the season almost, so I decided to bring on three of my closest friends and NFL super fans on. Here we have Harley Misson.
What up?
Jason Teefy.
What's up?
And Noah Smith.
So,
So, fellas, how do we feel about this season so far?
Well, it's certainly interesting.
a lot of injuries to start the year.
Yes,
That's probably what everyone's been talking about the most.
Yeah. I don't really think there's been too many surprisingly good teams either. All the teams that are good, we expected to be good.
I didn't expect the Cardinals to be doing as well as they are, to be honest.
What are they, 4-2?
5-2.
5-2. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's unexpected.
I thought they'd take a step up. I thought Kyler would take a step up, but I didn't know about the whole team. But
the teams that have me surprised are the Vikings and the Texans. I do not think that they would be 1-6 at this point.
yeah, I thought Texans would be around 500, and Vikings are just really bad. I feel like they're in every game though.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. Let's start with the NFC East. The NFC East is trash. Carson Wentz, he looks like the Eagles franchise QB at some points during the season, but the Eagles around him are still garbage. The Cowboys, Dak is injured. Players are turning against coaches. Now Andy Dalton's injured. The Giants are still bad. The football team is still bad, but Antonio Gibson had a career day this week. What do you guys think?
I mean, all the teams are bad, but Cowboys defense is the issue. Their offense was magnificent with Dak Prescott. I mean, Dak probably would have had the most passing yards in the NFL this year.
Maybe ever.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, the Giants, I think they just need more time. I think his name's Blake Martinez, the linebacker for the Giants.
He's good.
Yeah.
He's really good. So I don't know if Daniel Jones is the guy. Don't really think he is. I think he was a terrible draft pick, and the Giants are going to move on with him within the next 3 years. So, but I mean, I think all the teams are going to be good in a couple of years. Washington, great defense. I mean, Chase Young's probably going to be the best.
He already looks really great, Chase Young.
In the next 3 years. So.
Yeah, I mean, he'll probably get at least 2 to 3 defensive player of the years in his career.
Oh, absolutely, if he stays healthy. I think
Eagles' only issue is the injuries. That's really
that's true.
Yeah.
Terrible
And bad drafting.
Of course, yeah, there's that too. But
how
about
that if the Eagles don't win the division, though? I mean, it's just been set up perfectly for them.
Yeah, I think the Eagles will win the division. Honestly, there's no way there's no reason they shouldn't at this point.
Anymore to win the division.
No, absolutely not. Well, Ben DiNucci.
Plus,
gotta believe in him.
Plus, on top of that, there's bad chemistry in their locker room right now.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, they cut 2 players yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think Washington's probably going to be the only issue for the Eagles too.
Right.
Right.
The Cowboys coaching staff is incompetent, so is the Giants.
Yeah. Washington came in last in the division last year, so they get the easiest schedule out of all of us.
Right.
Right.
And they already beat us once.
And the Eagles still have to play the Seahawks, the Packers, and the Saints. So
it's going to be tough.
Those are really tough games that no other NFC East team has to play.
Well, we seem to win the games we're not supposed to win and lose the ones that we're supposed to win. So.
Right, like the 49ers game.
Yeah. I had a weird feeling that they were going to win that night.
And we were in the game with the Steelers and not in it, but they were much closer than some of the other games.
We came back against the Ravens.
Yeah.
But didn't win.
Showing some heart, at least. We care.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good.
I think the Giants will, like you said, move on from Daniel Jones, but I don't think they'll be bad enough to get Lawrence this year.
Oh yeah, I'm not expecting them to move on from him this fast, but in 2 or 3 years I could see some sort of backup or some quarterback that will just come in and take the spot until they find a guy worth drafting. Whether it's not going to be Fitzpatrick, but a guy like Fitzpatrick that'll come in and take that role.
Who even is their backup quarterback?
On the Eagles?
No, the Giants.
Oh, the Giants? Oh. I don't know.
Do they still have I'm trying to think of his name. Like Kyle Lauletta or something like that.
Either way.
Yeah, whoever it is, he's irrelevant enough to not take over for Daniel Jones right now. So
yeah,
right.
I mean, I don't think the Giants will get the first pick, and if they did, that would be pretty stupid to
right.
Lawrence, in my opinion. But
honestly, in my opinion, they made a mistake drafting Saquon a few years back.
Yeah, and Andrew Thomas was not a good pick this year with guys like Wirfs on the board if you wanted to tackle.
Right.
I think Saquon was the right pick. But
Saquon was a good pick. It's just he's got to have the right pieces around him.
Yeah, he's like once in a generation.
Right.
Well, it depends on how he comes back from this injury. Is he going to be the same?
I mean, I think that they should move him before he gets too old and loses all of his value. I mean, he's already got this injury, so
yeah.
He's eligible for that extension this off season too.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Running backs are overrated in the most replaceable position.
Exactly.
So if they could trade him and get assets, whether it's draft picks or guys on defense, I think that's a better way to go. And I mean, they have Wayne Gallman, who's been decent. They have Devonta Freeman, like he's old, but
he's doing the job.
And it's not just quarterback and him that is bad on the Giants. They've had a really bad O-line for a really long time now.
Yeah. You got week one.
Yeah, I hate how the football team benched Haskins, though.
Yeah.
Really? I thought that was unfair. Kyle Allen's definitely Rivera's guy from last year, but at the same time,
they should have at least
the future of that team.
They should have given Haskins.
It's not like he was playing bad.
Yeah, they should have given him more games. They weren't going to contend this year.
Right. They'll end up having a Josh Rosen kind of career, I think. It's untapped potential, which is a shame because I like Haskins.
All right, so let's move on to the NFC North. Are the Bears legit?
No. No. I'm sorry.
I've been hearing mixed things about it.
Well, their defense is legit, but their offense is just in shambles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, David Montgomery's not a good running back.
Nah, he sucks.
Them losing Tariq Cohen made David Montgomery worse.
Yeah, 100%. They got to get another weapon with Allen Robinson.
Yeah,
I hope
he just gets peppered, and he just got hurt, and that's gonna happen.
Allen Robinson's been in a lot of trade talks too. They would be dumb to move him at this point. I don't think it's that kind of time for them.
Yeah, and the rest of the way, the Bears have the Saints, the Titans, the Packers twice. Detroit could definitely beat them. Minnesota twice. That's a divisional game. They could easily lose one or two of them.
Right.
I just think that they've had a pretty easy schedule so far. That's why.
Yeah.
I don't like how they gave up on Trubisky either. I don't think Trubisky's in the right scheme for his skill set, to be honest.
It's an interesting situation. They paid Foles all that money, but Trubisky isn't great, but...
Well, I feel like Trubisky's like Carson in the sense where like he's better when he's on the move. Because that one year when he went off, they had him outside the pocket a lot and rolling out, and he can move. And I know he got hurt, but he hurt his shoulder, so it's not going to affect his running as much. I know it hurt Cam because he can't throw anymore, so it could be the same thing. But Cam can still run the ball. I think Trubisky could. He just has to get in the right system.
Yeah, that's true. The Packers, I think they'll end up winning this division.
Oh, yeah.
Handily. The Vikings are just trash, so...
Yeah.
They are, but I still think they'll finish around 7-9 or 8-8.
Right.
Will they at least finish better than the Lions in this division?
I mean...
The Lions are on the come-up.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
I like the Lions.
Lions got the easiest schedule out of any of them, too. So.
Yeah.
If it wasn't such a tough division, the Lions would probably be...
Well, they're 500 right now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, around that.
Yeah, they're 3-3. So yeah, they got Galladay.
I think the Packers are going to be like really separated from the rest of the division at the end of the year, and then everyone else is going to be 6.
Well, they've only lost one game, right?
Yeah.
And then the rest of the division will be like 6 to 9 wins, like somewhere in that range.
Right. Mm-hmm. The Packers got to get another weapon on the outside to help Devontae.
Yeah, they got to make a trade.
He can't stay on the field.
I heard the Packers inquired, before he got hurt, the Packers inquired the Eagles about Zach Ertz.
Yeah, I heard that, and so did the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like Rodgers likes Tanyan, though, right? Doesn't he?
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're going to make a move like that where they'd have to pay him.
I know I've heard about the Will Fuller, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Will Fuller's fragile, too, though.
That's true. But having Aaron Rodgers throwing you the ball, I mean, Deshaun Watson's good, but Aaron Rodgers having
he doesn't have the arm of Rodgers.
Yeah.
Speaking of Rodgers, where does he rank among greatest QBs of all time?
That's a loaded question.
That's why I'm asking it.
We only ask the tough questions here.
Somewhere in like the 7 to 10 range, probably.
Yeah, probably.
I would say so.
I think the Super Bowl he won really helped him, but it also helped him where he hasn't really done much since going to the Super Bowl.
Right.
He lost all those NFC Championship games too.
Right.
Yeah.
That definitely adds to it.
Another Super Bowl, I wouldn't have a problem putting him around 5.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think Mike McCarthy is proving that he's a very incompetent coach, so that could have played a factor too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I don't think, if we're talking skill-wise, then Aaron Rodgers up there the best of them. But if we're talking straight quarterback, like with Tom Brady, like he's the GOAT, but I don't know if he's as skilled as a guy like Aaron Rodgers.
No, Aaron Rodgers is more skilled.
I mean, the Packers have a pretty good chance to get to the NFC Championship this year. Whether they can beat Seattle or not, that's
Aaron, they low-key choked last year against the Niners because they had a pretty good shot and they got killed.
Yeah, they got killed in that game. They got killed against the Falcons a few years ago in the NFC Championship, and they lost in overtime to Seattle when they blew that lead.
Yeah.
14. So Rodgers has yet to prove himself in the playoffs in like 10 years.
And he just had a tough game against the Bucs, so maybe you can figure him out. I don't know.
Rodgers' decision-making, based off his low number of interceptions that he has, his decision-making is really, really, really good. So do you guys think it's like a talent issue that hasn't led him to win more Super Bowls, or is it just a coaching issue?
I think it's two things. I think it's lack of, besides recently with Aaron Jones, he's never really had, I mean, Eddie Lacy was good in like the 2 years that he was really good. I feel like he's never had a consistent, like competent running back really helping him back there, as well as the defense. I mean, he's always had weapons, whether it's Greg Jennings, Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams. Now he's always had an elite receiver, but I think the defense has held him back for a while.
That's true. He hasn't really had an elite defense.
When they won the Super Bowl in 2010, they had, like, Clay Matthews was, like, the best linebacker in football, probably.
Right.
They had A.J. Hawk, E.J. Raji.
I know Donald Driver had a couple of good years, too, with wide receiver. So it's not like he hasn't had weapons. But you also have to think about the front office hasn't drafted a skill position guy on offense in the first round in 15 years since Jordan Love. Yeah. Before Jordan Love, I mean.
And they really messed up their second-round pick this year because they didn't need a running back whatsoever, and they drafted A.J. Dillon, which was...
Yeah, I don't know why they did that.
No, he's a fullback.
He really hasn't even seen the field, even when Aaron Jones was hurt last week. So,
yeah, that's true.
So. Yeah.
All right,
even if he did get run, he wasn't efficient. He got 5 carries for 11 yards, so...
Yeah, that's true. All right, so let's...
The Packers just need to prove themselves this year. I think this is their best chance to make a Super Bowl run. I mean, in my opinion, I think the Seahawks are the only team that's standing in their way. I know people think the Buccaneers are top tier. I think that they're not going to do as well come playoff time. But
there's a segue into the NFC South if you're okay with that, JP.
The Packers, we'll get to that. I just got one more thing to say. The Packers are definitely running out of time to win another Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers at least. Because it does seem like they may want to take the same route they did with Brett Favre, with Jordan Love, and have them sit behind Aaron Rodgers for 3 seasons and then cut Rodgers, I guess, let him go, and then start Love the whole time. Because it's really odd to draft a quarterback in the first round when you have someone like Aaron Rodgers already that still has good years left in him.
Yep. I don't think Jordan Love's the guy either. I don't really believe in him, but it's one of those things. Maybe I hope he proves me wrong.
I'm sure people said the same thing about Aaron Rodgers, though, coming out of Cal. So
that's why he slipped.
Yeah.
So
I guess we'll see.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the NFC South. the Buccaneers just added Antonio Brown. The Saints, there's been Michael Thomas trade rumors, but Sean Payton has debunked them. The Panthers, losing Christian McCaffrey was a huge blow to their team. And the Falcons are just disappointing. They fired Dan Quinn, and I think they just need to blow it up already. What do you guys have to say?
I guess we can start with the Buccaneers.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think Antonio Brown getting added to the team really changes anything. I mean, they have the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. They have Gronk, who's competent enough, and they're off. I mean, their defense has proved to be pretty decent. So, I mean, I think they should be the favorite to win the division, but I don't think Antonio Brown really.
I don't think he's going to cut into the other White House targets as much as people think they will.
Yeah,
especially Mike Evans because he was 0. But
I think they're just adding names just to add names at this point.
Yeah.
I kind of disagree with that a little bit because of Tom Brady and Antonio Brown's relationship.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that AB will be getting like 9-10 targets a game. Like I think that he's
that's
he definitely still has it.
Yeah, he was without a doubt the best receiver in the NFL. Like, what 2018 season? I guess was his last.
Yeah.
Season.
And for the last decade.
Yeah.
No one,
literally.
no one would really argue that.
No.
He's only 32.
And then he was just going out of nowhere.
Yeah. He's got the connection with Tom. He played one game with them and had 60 yards and a touchdown. So things are looking up there. But I believe in Godwin. I don't think his target's going to drop very much. Mike Evans and Scotty Miller and all them are the ones you got to look out for because Godwin only works out of the slot.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the only issue with Godwin. You literally can't go more than one game without getting hurt.
Yeah, shout out your broken finger.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, Harley, just to let you know, Curtis Samuel just scored another touchdown.
Let's go.
That is fantastic.
Love to see it.
You move on to the Panthers.
So, Panthers losing Christian McCaffrey was not only a tough blow to their team, but also Teef's fantasy team as well.
Mm-hmm.
Teef, I'll start with your thoughts.
Still been playing well, man. I'm not, like I said earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, Christian McCaffrey is one of the best running backs.
He's the best running back in the league.
He's obviously not played enough to prove that, but last decade, probably one of the best running backs we've ever seen. You can tell that the Panthers aren't the same team, but you can win with another running back.
Definitely.
Mike Davis has been really good, and they have had some pretty favorable matchups in those weeks. But Teddy Bridgewater, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, Mike Davis, that's a much more potent offense than people realized.
Yeah.
And don't forget the best running back in the league, Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, there you go. Ohio State alum. And their defense lost Luke Kuechly, obviously, which is a huge blow.
Yeah.
So
they just drafted Derek Brown, though, and he's been impressive.
Yeah, from Auburn.
Was that the guy from Auburn?
Auburn, yeah. I've seen he's made a few plays, but I really like the Panthers roster. I believe in Teddy. I think he's good.
I think they'll be
he's solid.
9-8-8 by the time third place in the division.
Well, they're 500 right now. I think they could definitely make a run when McCaffrey comes back.
They're 3-4 right now.
I'll admit the Panthers look more respectable right now than I expected them to be this season.
Definitely.
A lot of people said they would have a top 5 pick in the draft next year, but I think that if we can transition, I think that's actually going to be the Falcons. Is that going to be the NFC South team with a top 5 pick in the draft next year?
Maybe top 3.
Yeah, and I think that they would be a good team to pick Trevor Lawrence because you see, with Mahomes, you sit him behind Matt Ryan, and Matt Ryan's way better than Alex Smith was. So Matt Ryan could really help Trevor Lawrence, and I think Trevor Lawrence could come in the following year and just dominate this league.
Just imagine that Trevor Lawrence to Calvin Ridley connection.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you've watched any of the Falcons games, you can see that they still have a high-powered offense because they have one of the best wide receiver duos in the NFL.
We talked early.
Yeah, Matt Ryan can't make the same throws that he used to.
No.
It's evident in some of them. I mean, they're still putting up big numbers, but
their defense is atrocious. I mean,
well, they have some good players. They just can't stay on the field.
How many points did they score against the Cowboys? I don't know how many it was, but the fact that the defense just let the Cowboys come back that game was ridiculous.
They let them down in the Super Bowl a couple years ago too. So
I mean, the Falcons have had multiple games. I think they've had 3 this year already where they've blown like leads over 15.
Yeah, it was Cowboys, Bears, and last week.
Yeah.
They've had like 3 games where they had a 99.99% win probability, and they've lost. That's like unheard of.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, people, for some reason, people are blaming the loss last week to Todd Gurley. I mean, I guess he wasn't supposed to score the touchdown, but...
No, he wasn't. They told him to go down before, get the first down, waste some clock.
Yeah, that's not his fault, though. Like, the defense was so incompetent that...
He gave up a touchdown and a 2-point conversion within...
Yeah.
Or so. Like,
You can't hate on Stafford, though. I think he's very underrated.
I think so, too. Stafford's always been pretty solid.
I'm not surprised. He's had plenty of game-winning drives in his career, so I don't think it helps. I don't think the Falcons' defense is any better than y'all are saying, but can't count Stafford out.
And then, so if we could move on to the Saints, I guess.
Yeah, I was about to say, we haven't touched on the Saints yet.
Yeah.
I mean, Lamar is carrying the Saints right now.
Yeah.
Say that. I mean,
they're a really good team. I mean, 10, 11, 12 wins is definitely...
It's the usual for them.
But I do think that they're just going to be the usual letdown in the playoffs like they are every year.
Yeah.
That's facts.
I don't think they have enough to make a run.
And
Like they're a good regular season team.
This could... I don't think this is Drew Brees' last year, but if this isn't, then next year is.
I was about to say, I think this year's the last year of Drew Brees.
I don't think Taysom Hill is the guy either.
Jameis.
Yeah. I mean, I was looking at the stats. I mean, Drew Brees hasn't completed a pass past like 30 yards in the air in like multiple years.
Yeah.
It's a lot of short passes, and I mean, that's why Kamara gets 8-9 catches a game. Like, you can just check it down to Kamara all the time. That's why Kamara is absolutely carrying the Saints. I mean, when Michael Thomas comes back, it'll be perfect to just throw more slants over the middle. But
Do you guys think Michael Thomas will be traded?
No.
no.
Do you think that was? I think that was all talk.
Whether they have Jameis next or another quarterback, it's just going to be a perfect weapon. I mean, they have I don't know who their other receivers are, but
Emmanuel Sanders.
I mean, he's all right, but they don't really have anyone nearly as competent as Michael Thomas is.
Yeah.
And they gave him 5 years, $100 million before last season. So
it wouldn't make sense to trade him. So let's move on to the NFC West. In my opinion, the toughest division in the NFC. The Seahawks, Russell Wilson looks every bit like the MVP. Tyler Lockett just had a huge game. The Cardinals look really good. Kyler just came off a huge game. The Rams just came off a win against the Bears. And the Niners are so far the worst team in that division this year, and that's really saying something.
They have 4 wins. I mean, everyone either has 4 or 5 wins in that division.
Yeah. That division's electric. I love watching the Cardinals offense, and I love watching Russ just bomb it downfield to DK.
And the Rams defense is finally actually doing something.
Yeah, right.
I mean, they have Kupp, they have Woods, they have Higbee. I mean, they have a good offense. They don't have a good running back, but Darrell Henderson and Malcolm Brown have been competent enough to help Jared Goff. And their defense is doing pretty good. But I think if the 49ers still had Nick Bosa, and I don't know if they lost anyone else in that defense, I think that they would be a lot better. Not a lot better. I think they could have easily had 5 wins right now as well. But
yeah, I mean, they're 4-3 with that blowout loss to the Dolphins. So
yeah, and they lost to the Eagles. So
yeah, I mean,
yeah, that's true. And they lost Nick Bosa. I emphasize that.
That's pretty big loss.
I did think that they were definitely going to have a Super Bowl hangover.
Yeah.
I mean, but
they were
that division. I could see them easily winning the 13, 14 games.
I think the Seahawks will win it handily. The 49ers have just been struck by the injury bug. Just a reminder, DK Metcalf should be in an Eagles uniform right now.
So is Claypool.
Yep.
So should Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, literally every receiver that's back. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside and Jalen Ritter. But
we didn't trade a second-round pick to get CeeDee Lamb, draft Jalen Hurts.
Eagles got Travis Fulgham, so...
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's true.
Gosh,
pretty much like the next DeAndre Hopkins, so...
Gosh, I love drafting guys from the Pac-12.
Yeah, right. Or say go White. Oh, don't even get me started.
Hey, you had a touchdown, man.
No, you're not making this.
Nah, I know.
He's a red zone threat.
It's high-powered offense there at Stanford.
As always, George Kittle's a beast.
Yeah.
Yep, second best tight end in football.
I was just about to say this.
Okay, here's my thing.
Are you gonna say he's the best because
He is the best, and here's why.
he can block?
No, well, kinda. If I was running an actual football team, I would want George Kittle on my team over Travis Kelce. But if we're talking fantasy, then yes, I would want Kelce on my team over Kittle.
I don't know.
That's just how I look at it. Kelsey's very good at catching the ball.
Right.
But I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I also just personally like Kittle, to be honest. I don't know.
That's probably one of the closest debates you could have.
Yeah, they're both right answers.
It's pretty close. Yeah. It's basically 1A, 1B with them.
Yeah, definitely.
But, I mean, the 49ers offense, besides, they can't stay healthy, and Jimmy Garoppolo's top 4 were starting quarterbacks in the NFL.
He's just a game manager, basically.
He's good enough.
Yeah.
That's what I like to say. And they just lost Deebo Samuel.
Good enough.
I was going to say
when the Super Bowl last year.
When they have everyone healthy, they're probably the fastest offense in the NFL. I mean, maybe the Chiefs are up there, but watching the 49ers is a lot of fun because they got all those end arounds and
yeah.
They have a bunch of running backs who are just extremely fast. That they
yeah. They don't have Matt Breida anymore, but he was really fast. Super fast.
It was extremely fast.
They're down to like their 5th string running back, and he's still a monster in that system. So
yeah,
jeez. All right, so let's move on to the AFC East. The Bills are looking solid so far. Josh Allen specifically is looking solid. The Dolphins, they're excited for what Tua Tagovailoa has to offer. The Patriots, Super Cam is looking like a thing of the past. And the Jets, tank for Trevor. Thoughts? Let's start with the Bills.
For Darnold, for one. I think he's legit.
So, if we could start with the Jets, I think that they need to trade Sam Darnold to either
Calvin Ridley's down.
What?
To either the Steelers, the Colts, or the Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Darnold's a great quarterback. I don't think it's his fault.
I do think that there's still value for him right now, and that they could get a first-round pick for him. So
not to mention,
these are good players are so good when they leave the Jets. I mean, Robbie Anderson is nearly a top 10 actual wide receiver in the NFL. He's like 4th in yards this year.
Second.
Yeah.
Not to mention that Adam Gase is one of the worst coaches in the NFL.
Yeah, I think he is the worst coach in the NFL.
Yeah, you can talk about Ryan Tannehill. All the guys that got out of Gase's system are now amazing. Robbie Anderson being one, Tannehill being one.
If I'm Trevor Lawrence, I'm staying in school to just get the first pick.
He might actually stay at Clemson next year.
Yeah, he did reverse his comments a little bit from what he said at the beginning of the year. He said he was definitely coming out, and then a few weeks ago he said, he'd have to think about it.
Right. It's a bad organization. Definitely.
True.
And guys like C.J. Mosley signed there, and we haven't heard a peep from him. He used to be considered one of the best linebackers in football.
Yeah, I completely forgot about him.
Right, exactly. So, Quinnen Williams, they just drafted number 3. He's supposed to be a sure thing. We haven't heard much from him.
Le'Veon released.
Yeah. He's gonna kill it.
The Dolphins. How well do you guys think Tua is gonna do?
I'm not a Tua guy. I don't believe in him, to be honest.
I think he's going to be really good. I just think they brought him in a little too soon. They're 3-3, and no one expected them to be.
Yeah, and they were rolling with Fitzpatrick. I don't think they should have benched him.
I just don't get. I understand bringing Tua into the end of that game that he came in, but it doesn't make sense.
No, absolutely not.
No.
They got weapons down there though. Devontae Parker's another guy that got out of the Gase system and is now looking good.
I think Tua will be solid, but I agree with you guys that they brought him in kind of too early.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that Fitzpatrick should have been benched. Not yet. I mean, even if the Dolphins try and push a wild card spot, this isn't the Dolphins season. So I just felt like bringing him in this early was a waste of time.
Yeah.
Now, with Cam Newton struggling on the Patriots, does that kind of debunk all the rumors that Tom Brady's a system quarterback?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was definitely one of the bigger questions coming into the season. But
I mean, I never thought that originally.
Yeah.
Just made plays that had nothing to do with the system at times.
Right.
And with the Patriots, I feel like we will know by, I guess the trade deadline's next Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to know by then what their direction is, because if Stephon Gilmore is no longer a Patriot, then they're going to be in full rebuilding mode. And if he's still on the team, then I think they're still making that playoff push for this year. Because they still got a very soft schedule down the stretch. They still get to play the Dolphins again. I don't think they've played the Jets yet. So
I just don't see them making the playoffs, man. I mean, their offense is
horrendous.
They don't.
Yeah, I don't see them making the playoffs.
That'd be weird to see too.
Yeah, and they've always had a good running game. They don't have a running back this year either, so it's one of those things. And Cam can't throw the ball because he has a surgically repaired shoulder. So
best running back they have is Rex Burkhead.
Yeah, it's not looking good for them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so onto the AFC North. The Steelers look super strong. They're still undefeated. Big Ben, great comeback by him. They have a great defense. The Ravens still look really solid. The Browns are 5-2. They will look better if Baker looks better consistently. And for the Bengals, Joe Burrow looks really good really early.
I love Burrow.
Let's start with the Bengals.
Yeah, he looks legit. I love Joe Mixon in the backfield. They got to give him some help on the O-line, but I love him.
And they do have...
Shut up, Nair.
They have an incredibly underrated wide receiver trio with A.J. Green, Tyler Boyd, and T. Higgins. They've all...
I mean, A.J. Green's past his prime, obviously, but he's still competent enough to be a receiver there. Just to take pressure off T. Higgins. I mean, T. Higgins has been huge.
A.J. Green's another name that I've heard mentioned to go to the Packers before the deadline also.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, obviously injuries have riddled him, but...
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, Joe Burrow looks like a veteran when he's out there. I mean, obviously he has no one protecting him right now, but
if you give him an O-line and some experience, then he will look really, really extraordinary.
Yeah. They're probably going to have a decent pick this year. Draft an
O-lineman.
I think that's what they should use their first round pick on, but...
Yeah, for sure. Or defense.
Yeah.
Defense and O-line is what they'll have to look for in this year's draft.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, on to the Browns, I guess. So,
yeah.
I did just want to say this is probably the second best division behind the NFC West. This is the only one that could really compete with it, to be honest, I think.
I think so, too. Everyone has almost 5 wins in that division.
Mm-hmm. The only real hiccup is the Bengals, and they seem to be in every game. So, and they got a bright future ahead of them. But, onto the Browns. I like the Browns a lot, actually. I'm not a big Baker fan, but I like their backfield.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt's shown that he's still an incredible running back. I mean, their running game, they were averaging over 200 yards rushing when Chubb was healthy. Their defense is pretty good. I mean, Baker's not the best quarterback in the league at all, but he can make the throws when they need it.
They just lost Odell for the season.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think that really hurts them.
Yeah, that's not going to help. But they still got I think Jarvis, he won't be able to do the job as well, but he's there.
He'll be targeted more, definitely.
Peoples-Jones had that game-winning touchdown catch last week. And
it's true.
They have guys who are competent enough to catch the football. Obviously, Odell hurts because that just puts more pressure on Jarvis Landry to be better than he actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That could be a team that deals for a receiver at the deadline.
Yeah. Right. Now, the Ravens, your guy, Lamar Jackson.
I love Lamar Jackson. Yeah, he had a great season last year, but Ravens are being carried by their defense this year. Lamar Jackson's not the best quarterback in the league. I mean, he can make some throws. He can still run, obviously. I mean, no one's really figured out how to really contain him when he runs. But yeah, they're being carried by their defense right now. I mean, they got exposed by the Chiefs. Lamar Jackson had 90 passing yards, I believe, that game. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that defense, they really are gonna have to try and stop the Chiefs if they face the Chiefs in the playoffs. But
I agree.
I think last year was their best chance to win a Super Bowl at this point, and they didn't. So I think
my thing with Lamar is like he's a great runner, and he's a good quarterback, but he's like all of his throws, I've noticed they're always like just that little bit behind or that little bit left or a little bit high or a little bit low or something like that. But he just has Mark Andrews making ridiculous plays in the end zone.
And I think they have the best defense in the league, especially after they got Ngakoue from Minnesota. And like this weekend they play the Steelers, and I think that the Ravens win this weekend.
I think the Ravens can, because the Steelers have a great defense as well. It's going to be a very, very difficult game.
It's going to be a battle.
Yeah, and then they play again on Thanksgiving night, and I would say the winner of that one is going to win the division.
Yeah, I don't know the quality of defenses that the Steelers have played so far, so we can move on to them, I guess.
Yeah, on to the Steelers.
I don't know the quality of defense that they played so far, but their offense looks nice.
Their wins are against like the Giants, the Texans, the
last week was their only legitimate
Titans, the Eagles, and don't remember the other team they beat.
Yeah. But I like their pieces on offense, and their defense has been legit since last year. They got them 8 wins alone.
Yeah, and the Steelers still get to play Washington and Dallas. So
right.
So I think they'll handily win the division. Honestly, no, well, not handily, but they'll win it.
Yeah, I think they're a playoff team.
I think it just depends on the Ravens games. I mean, if they take one of those 2 games, I think they have a pretty good chance. If the Ravens win both of those games, I think that the Ravens have a pretty good chance of taking
it. I got both of them either winning 13 or 14 games this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, the Steelers haven't really proven to me they could win the big games yet, other than maybe the Browns.
The Titans are the only team that they've beat.
They just beat the Titans this past weekend, which was
fair.
They're both undefeated going into that one.
Yeah, but their whole offense centers around Derrick Henry. If you can shut him down, which is very hard, but if you can shut him down,
which they did,
you're pretty set.
So I guess should we move into the
AFC South?
Let's move on to the AFC South. Tannehill for the Titans looks like a legit starting QB. The Colts, they're pretty solid. They're kind of a mystery to me. The Texans, they traded everybody. Just fired Bill O'Brien. They're bad. The Jaguars are trash. Doug Marrone needs to be fired. Let's start with the Jags.
I'm a big Gardner fan. I like him a lot. He's not the best in the world, but I think he can do the job. If he has the pieces around him. Yeah, that's true.
I think it's going to be at least a decade until the Jaguars get anywhere close to where they were in 2017. I mean, people forget that the Jaguars were in the AFC Championship, and we're pretty close to going to the Super Bowl to play the Eagles.
Completely different team.
Yeah,
they got some decent pieces on offense. They have Laviska Shenault, they have DJ Chark, they have James Robinson. I don't know how legit he's going to be in the future, but they have him.
The defense is so good. They had 2 of the best corners in the NFL, debatably 2 of the best at the time. They had Bouye and Jalen Ramsey. They had good linebackers. They had a great defense. They had Fournette. They just...
They're all going.
Yeah. They had Blake Bortles.
They had Allen Robinson, I think, then.
I think that... was he hurt that year? Was that the year he got hurt?
Either way.
He was a Bear back then.
Either way, the Jaguars, completely different team now, and I don't see them being successful anytime soon.
Leonard Fournette's prime was his rookie year that season.
Right, yeah, definitely.
But he's a backup now.
I liked Fournette coming out of school, but he's proven he's not all that, I guess.
Texans. Is it time? They're not going to trade Watson, obviously. That would be stupid for them to do, but the damage is already done from Bill O'Brien. They traded away his top weapon in Hopkins. Where do you guys see the Texans going from here?
So I think that, I mean, they don't even have a draft pick for the next 2 years. So I think that they're going to really be selling like this coming Tuesday. And
Okay.
I think you could definitely see them getting rid of a ton of guys just to try to get some picks to make up for all that Bill O'Brien lost for them.
Do you think J.J. Watt's going to be one of those guys?
I don't know what they would get for him. Like,
well, it's one of those things too, where that's a guy. He's done so much for your franchise. Do you really trade that kind of guy?
And for
especially at the end of his career,
and for the community as well. He raised a ton of money for Hurricane Harvey relief.
He just wouldn't look right in any other jersey. When I think Texans, I think J.J. Watt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. But yeah, they're definitely going to be sellers at the deadline. I don't know why Deshaun Watson signed an extension, to be honest, but he did.
Yeah, and if they don't like hit on these draft picks that they're going to try to acquire, then I think they could be like bad for a while.
Right,
be in big trouble, yeah.
They're definitely on the downhill.
The Colts. How do you guys feel about the Colts? I don't know how to feel about them.
I think Rivers is washed.
Yeah, they have a phenomenal defense though, and I think
defense is incredible this year.
Mm-hmm. Led by Temple alum Rock Ya-Sin.
Yeah, they got Darius Leonard, Xavier Rhodes having a comeback year. I think they're a good team. I mean, 10 wins.
Written about Buckner. Buckner's leading that defense right now.
Yeah, Buckner too.
I think
it's a very, very underrated move in the offseason, in my opinion.
I think the Colts should try and get Sam Darnold, truthfully. I think
it wouldn't be a bad move, actually, for them.
I mean, T.Y. Hilton's running out of time in his career.
I think Frank Reich could be good for Sam Darnold, his system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he made Foles competent in the playoffs, so he's doing something right. And he made Brissett halfway decent last year. So
yeah, I think they just need to move on from Phillip Rivers. I mean, I understood the move to bring him in, but he's done. Like, if the Colts want to win, like, if they can keep that defense around next year, they need to bring in someone new at quarterback.
Right.
Definitely.
And that leaves the Titans. Tannehill's a legit starting QB, it seems.
Yeah. I think Tannehill is very good at handing the ball off to Derrick Henry.
I mean,
I think he's proven within the past couple of weeks that he's without a doubt top 10 quarterback in this league right now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
but having that elite of a running game definitely helps.
I mean, even against the Steelers' elite defense last week, I mean, they didn't get blown out by the Steelers. Like, it was a pretty good game.
Yeah, and it seems like he's got a weapon in A.J. Brown on the outside.
They have Corey Davis. I mean, they have guys there.
They're a very good team, like top 5 team and top 4 team, I would say, in the AFC.
Yeah, I think Vrabel's proven to be a very good coach too for a long time.
Well, for sure.
I think he's a great coach.
Yeah, I thought he was a clown at first, but he's proven me wrong, especially last year at their playoff run.
Unforgettable.
They have a great offensive line. Like, even when Henry got shut down last week, I mean, Tannehill showed he was competent enough to make the plays, and even though they didn't win, it was still a great game. And I don't think you don't take anything away from the Titans from losing that game.
They're a very good team.
Yeah,
very,
the Titans
very solid. Very solid. So that just leaves the AFC West. The Chiefs, the favorites to repeat this year before the season. The Raiders don't look too bad, but they don't look too great. The Chargers, Herbert looks pretty promising. The Broncos, up in the air. Let's start with them.
I just want to start off with the Broncos.
Drew Lock.
Drew Lock MVP.
Yeah, I think Drew Lock sucks. I think Drew Lock is going to be anything. I don't think it's his fault that he's bad. I think the Broncos are just bad overall. But I don't know. I was hoping for big things for Drew Lock. I mean,
I don't know how to feel about Drew Lock, honestly, because he's had some good games. He's showed promise. I don't understand the Melvin Gordon signing at all.
Yeah,
he was a 1,000-yard rush last year.
Yeah, they gave him a big contract.
And then like Philip Lindsay, when he's played, has like I think led or come close to leading the league in yards per carry. So.
Right, and it's not like Royce Freeman was bad last year. He's a good complimentary guy.
Yeah, I mean, if the
Right.
Broncos can stay healthy, I think they would be a team to maybe look out for next year. But this year, completely done for them.
And
Especially
they're
with
missing Cortland Sutton, too.
especially with
which I'm
Von
forgetting.
Miller
Yeah.
coming back too.
But yeah. And they don't have Von Miller, too. I don't know if you just said that. I'm not really paying attention right now.
I said especially with Von Miller coming back next year, they could be a team to look out for.
Right.
Yeah, he holds that defense together. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. One of the greatest defensive players ever.
Definitely.
Uh,
Single-handedly won them that Super Bowl.
BP.
Cam just wouldn't dive on that ball.
Yeah, poor guy.
Right, Teef?
Yep.
Yeah, Panthers really went on the downhill after that.
Traded everybody.
Yeah, but segueing into the Chargers, I really like Herbert.
I like him
Coming out
too.
of school.
I love Justin Herbert.
I like him too.
Yeah, well, he's also on your fantasy team. But
Anyway, I think when Eckler comes back, the Chargers will be even better. I mean, Justin Jackson's there; he's pretty good, but Eckler is like that dual threat guy. I mean, he's not going to be the best running back in the league, but he's definitely going to make Herbert's job even easier, being able to have a guy that he can check down to all the time and run the ball to. I mean, they got Keenan Allen, they have Mike Williams, who's arguably one of the best jump ball catchers in the entire league. I think Justin Herbert's the future of the Chargers.
Absolutely.
I don't know if they're going to win. I mean, when I've been looking at the league, I could see the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl almost like every year, just depending on what happens. I mean, the Chiefs are just that good. But I think Herbert's definitely going to put some more competition in that division. I mean, that division hasn't been the greatest over the last couple of years.
I think that, like, when you look at the Chargers, you look at a team that's going to be competing for Super Bowls within, 4 to 6 years probably. Like, they got Derwin James on the defense, arguably one of the best safeties in the league. They got Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram. I mean, their defense is ridiculous when healthy. And then Justin Herbert looks like the real deal, obviously. So they're a team to watch out for, in the coming years, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I would agree.
They just got to take advantage of their draft picks when they're bad.
Exactly.
It's true. The Raiders, new stadium, team kind of looks to be on the upside, but they still have Derek Carr as their QB.
I don't know how to feel about the Raiders because I feel like I always see them that they're down, but like they're in and they somehow come back and win. Like they're one of those like fluke teams, I think.
I mean, I think Derek Carr's having a great year. I mean, if you look at his
stats,
he's only thrown 2 interceptions the entire year.
Right. I think Josh Jacobs is pretty legit. Yeah, I think Gruden's proven to be a good coach.
The Raiders are getting a similar vibe to the Colts, but if you look at the schedules, like the Raiders is much easier.
Yeah.
Stretch. Like they got the Chargers, the Broncos, the Falcons, the Jets, the Chargers again, the Dolphins, and then the Broncos again. The only tough games they got left are Kansas City and Indy. So
yeah, and even when they've played good teams, like I said, they've been in every game. So
yeah, they beat the Chiefs. So
yeah, exactly.
That's
and
true.
who did they play last week? Where they almost
they played Tampa Bay and they got blown out.
Well, I wouldn't say they got blown out. It was pretty close with like 7 minutes left, and Derek Carr threw a bad pick.
Yeah.
But
right.
I don't know. I think since their schedule's so easy the rest of the way, that the Raiders could possibly be a playoff team just based on.
Yeah, we'll
They
see that.
They could be a wild card team, sneak into the playoffs.
A lot of things are going to have to go well for them if they're going to pull that off. But I think it could happen, definitely.
The thing is, there's three wild card teams this year, so
it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
So with sorry, Teef, go ahead.
Are you going to transition into the Chiefs?
Yeah, I was going to transition to the Chiefs.
Go ahead.
So yeah, like Nurse said before, I can see them being Super Bowl contenders every single year, either AFC Championship at least every single year.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Mahomes is by the end of his career, I could see Pat Mahomes having upwards to 3 to. I would like to say 5 Super Bowls, depending on that Chiefs team, obviously, and whether Mahomes stays healthy forever. But, yeah, I mean, at the end of his career, Pat Mahomes could easily be a top 3 quarterback if his career keeps going the way it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
They have so many weapons. I mean, they have 2 pretty good running backs. I mean, Hilaire is, I believe, number 2 in rushing yards.
He's up there.
Right.
Yeah, the Chiefs they don't even need the best defense in the NFL to be good.
Yeah, they just need a competent one.
Yeah.
They do have a pretty good defense. Tyrann Mathieu, Chris Jones.
Yeah.
They always seem to get, like, the fastest wide receivers for Mahomes to just launch the ball down to.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I think
true.
when it comes to the Chiefs, there's just not much to talk about. Like, they're amazing. And,
like, Mahomes is legit as it gets. They're proven to have a very good front office because they continue to pull off these ridiculous moves where it's coming out of nowhere. And they just gave Mahomes $500 million.
I think Mahomes is just going to be a better Aaron Rodgers, truthfully. I mean,
yeah,
Clyde.
He can do what Aaron Rodgers can do, and he's already shown to be a winner. I mean, if he can win more than one Super Bowl, I would honestly put him above Aaron Rodgers before the end of his career. But
Definitely.
We have to see how his career plays out. And
Edwards Hilaire was looking like a great pick so far.
Mm-hmm. The thing that amazes me about the Chiefs is how they've found a way to pay everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
They locked up Mahomes and Chris Jones in the same offseason. Tyreek Hill got paid last year. Kelsey should be due soon, I guess. Sammy Watkins, I mean, I'm not really sure what his contract situation is, but he's not really
They have all their wide receivers after Tyreek Hill are honestly guys who could be wide receiver twos on other teams.
Yeah, I really like Mecole Hardman, especially in that system.
They're just so fast, too.
It's ridiculous, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Mahomes doesn't have to rely on running. Like, he has that arm. He can make the good throws. I mean, he does make some questionable plays sometimes that I think are just a thing that he's still a young guy making plays, but he's going to keep winning them games for years to come.
Yeah, I mean, kids that are 7, 8, 9 years old right now, they're going to grow up thinking that, Mahomes was, our Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be to them what Tom Brady was to us.
I agree. Mm-hmm. It's so entertaining when Mahomes has a clean pocket and he has all day to throw because he's going to throw deep.
Yeah, he's going to launch it.
Yeah.
And now a word from our sponsors. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. So let's start with playoff predictions. What do you guys think is going to happen in the playoffs? I'll start with you, Teef.
Okay, so I'm going to start with the AFC. So my 1 seed I have as the Chiefs. My 2 seed, the Ravens. 3, Titans. 4, Bills. 5, Steelers. 6, Raiders. And 7, Colts.
Solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really lay it out like that. I'm just thinking playoff teams that could come from the AFC. I think definitely the Steelers could make a run with that defense. That's defensive football in the playoffs. And they got Big Ben back, so I think he's good enough. He's going to make some plays. Titans are a team to look out for. It's just all those teams that are super defensive and run heavy. I think will definitely be better down the stretch in the playoffs, and definitely the Chiefs are going to be up there because they're ridiculous.
You think the Browns fit in?
Truthfully, I just think the Chiefs are going to go to the Super Bowl again.
Yeah,
I think so too.
I don't think there's another team in the AFC that can touch them.
I just think a team is just going to have to get lucky in a playoff game because Kansas City's going to have home field for the entire playoffs. Regardless of how many fans are there, the Chiefs at home are obviously still an advantage.
I just think that on a cold winter day, I could definitely see the Steelers defense coming out.
Yeah,
100%.
Because they're so used to that kind of weather.
One of those top teams, I could see Baltimore or Pittsburgh, whether they're facing the Steelers or facing the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. I could see a really cold day where Mahomes isn't able to make the normal plays that he can make. Maybe that's how the Chiefs go down, but they have a clear day in January for the Chiefs. I could see the Kansas City Chiefs just going to the Super Bowl again. And obviously going back to back.
Yeah, I think the NFC is much more open than the AFC, so I'm glad you started with that.
The AFC is more talented than it has been in recent years, though.
Yeah,
Definitely.
They're allowing, 10,000 fans at the Super Bowl this year? Around there?
Something like that.
I forget exactly what it was.
Yeah.
I know it was a pretty significant amount.
Yeah, it was 10 to 12,000, I think, something like that. It was.
Have a plan to be able to have that amount of people there. I heard something about having bubbles. For people to sit in. I don't know.
I saw something about pods. Yeah.
I don't know where the game is this year.
It's in Florida, Tampa.
Okay. Yeah, so they'll have good weather as long as it doesn't rain.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But yeah, like I said, I could just see the Chiefs going back. Obviously, I think Teef's point about the defense is very true because, every football season ends with cold weather, and Kansas City already has had snow, and it's October, so definitely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the Chiefs proved in the Super Bowl they can definitely get it done with their running game too.
Mm-hmm.
So one of those things.
And Mahomes basically added 10 years to Andy Reid's career as a coach.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even get me started on Andy Reid. That's terrible.
Buccaneers home field Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I could definitely see it.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. It's it's definitely much more open out in the NFC. Tampa Bay could be up there.
Yeah.
Green Bay could be in there. Seattle could be in there. Arizona could make a ridiculous run. It's more far-fetched, but it could happen.
Yeah, the NFC has an entire division that's not going to be competing in the playoffs. Whatever NFC East team, that's just going to be pretty much a fly for whoever plays the winner of that division. So, yeah, like Harley said, Cardinals could make a run. There's 3 teams in the South that I could see winning a game or two. Whether the Panthers make it and they win a game, that's to be told. But there's a lot of competent teams in the NFC that could win. I would say that the Seahawks are, the early favorites, but I think someone could beat Seattle.
Yeah, well, after the Cardinals game, it's tough to say. The Seahawks are a lock.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say they're a lock, obviously. I think that they have a better chance of losing than...
Right.
Prediction, Steelers lose in the divisional round.
That opens some things up.
I think if the Steelers go down that early, I think that the Ravens would be really the only team that could really take down the Chiefs. Excuse me. I don't know. It's really hard to tell right now whether Pittsburgh's defense is actually legit. They're really good, obviously, but I think once they start playing a couple more competent teams, like the Titans, it'll be shown whether they can really play against guys. Because Ravens have the best defense in the NFL, and
I think it'll be this weekend. Ravens Steelers this weekend.
Yeah, so I think if the Steelers can hold Lamar Jackson like the Chiefs defense did, Steelers are definitely legit. But I think it's still to be seen.
There's a lot of questions going into the playoffs so far.
Yeah, a lot of mysteries.
So yeah.
So for the NFC, I had. So by the way, the way I did this was there's this website where you can predict every game the rest of the season. So I just ran through that real quick, and this was the results I got. So I got Packers 1 seed, Buccaneers 2, Seahawks 3, Eagles 4, Saints 5, Niners 6, and Rams 7. So I do have the Cardinals and the Bears both missing the playoffs, even though they're both 5-2 right now.
Yeah, I don't see the Bears getting in at all.
Yeah, no.
Eagles.
Cardinals could be interchangeable with the Niners, depending on how their injuries play out, because they just lost Debo.
2 of the 3 between the Niners, Rams, and Cardinals will make it, because I think the Saints are definitely but not every team in that division can make it.
Eagles at 4 seed? That's interesting.
What'd you say?
Yeah.
I said Eagles at 4 seed. That's interesting.
They'd have
they won the division, yeah.
Oh, that's true.
But I think they're going to get bounced pretty early.
I think that if they lucked into a game against the 49ers or Rams or maybe even the Bears, I think that's a game they could win. But, if it's the Saints, Seahawks, Hawks, Packers, no.
Yeah.
No.
Well, we played the Seahawks pretty tough last year, so it's yet to be seen. But I think Hart definitely goes into the playoff games, and we have plenty of that. We've proven. So
yeah, for sure.
Maybe we can squeak out a pretty big upset.
Or maybe we'll have some guys back by playoff time if we make it.
Right.
Is
Maybe
Alshon
will actually not up and play a game.
I don't want him to play. I hate Alshon Jeffrey.
I do too.
Yeah, I was about to say, is he even on the team anymore?
Yeah, he is. Is he practicing yet? I don't know. I don't feel like he wants to.
Has not participated every single week.
Gosh, I wish they would just release him. I wish they could.
Yeah, is he? Are we convinced that he's actually hurt or he doesn't want to play? I'm gonna go with he doesn't want to play.
Yeah, he's old. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just hope he never plays on the Eagles again.
Yeah. D-Jack's at least trying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, D-Jack's played decently before he was hurt last game.
Yeah.
Well, he's good when he's in.
Made a couple of catches.
More than 3 quarters without getting hurt, and he's out 6 to 8 weeks now?
Yeah, something like that.
I mean,
I think it's the end of Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, well, Howie just doesn't get that these old speedsters are very fragile when it comes to soft tissue stuff because they're super athletic.
Dude,
that's just how it is.
Enough with the nostalgia already.
Yeah, exactly.
We just
need to move on.
We need to stop drafting wide receivers. Unless we're taking a wide receiver in the 5th round, we're taking a wide receiver in the 1st or 2nd round because obviously the Eagles can't draft wide receivers.
Well, we gotta stop getting weird. I just feel like we drafted Jalen Reagor and no one's ever heard of him before the draft when Justin Jefferson was still on the board, and we drafted J. Jaw when DK was on the board still. So we just gotta stop getting weird and be stop being the smartest guy in the room all the time. I hate that.
Just pick the no-brainers.
Exactly. Those guys are harder to hit on anyway from smaller schools, so.
It's ridiculous.
The draft is not the time for analytics to come in.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, you just take the best guy available because then if he's bad, you pick the best guy available and he doesn't pan out, then he doesn't pan out. But
yeah, there's a lot of gut feeling that goes into the draft too, and I feel like we're getting our heads a little bit about all that stuff.
Yeah,
it's because of that.
Jalen Reagor isn't. I don't think is as much of a speedster as people like to make him out to be. He ran a 4.5 at the combine, so from what we've seen so far, he has 1 catch on the year. So
yeah, I really don't like analytics in sports because, as you saw, if you've seen the last game of the World Series, Blake Snell was dealing and he was pulled after 73 pitches. They lost the World Series after that.
Yeah. Well, the game right before that, with the Dodgers, Urias was dealing and they pulled him early and they lost.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah, I hate it.
I don't even watch baseball. I knew that was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
Everyone always has to be the smart guy.
I hate people that are the smartest guy in the room. That was my problem with Andy Reid and his drafting and everything like that. And Doug Peterson has the same problem.
Yeah, it's definitely that's the best way I can put it.
It's ridiculous.
Do we do these award predictions, JP?
Yeah, you want to move on to that?
All right, let's get into it.
Whoever wants to start.
With MVP, or should we start with a not as important award?
Yeah, let's start with a not as important, then work our way up to MVP.
All right.
Let's start with rookies of the year, defense and offense.
Okay.
I think there's a bunch of guys on offense that it's just going to come down to the end of the season who looks the best. Halfway through the season, Herbert's definitely going to be up there. If he plays the whole season, he's been very good.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be Burrow just because of how bad the Bengals are this year. I just think his numbers aren't going to be as comparative. And there's guys like Clyde, Justin Jefferson that all have decent shots.
In my opinion, it's a 2-man race between Herbert and Burrow because, I just don't really think that there's much that... I think they're so far separated from everyone else right now.
It's the thing with the quarterbacks that...
Right. Well, Clyde's playing really well, but they just brought in Le'Veon, too, so it's going to be one of those things. He's probably going to take a step back, so it's going to end up being that 2-man race, and it'll probably end up being Herbert in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, so for defense, who do we think?
I'll be honest, I don't even know.
I really don't know either.
I got Patrick Queen written down from.
Oh yeah, that's
he's the only one I've really heard.
Yeah, when I thought defense rookie year, that was literally the only name that came to my head. So
Yeah,
that's a good one
too. That's who I went with because he's been balling.
Yeah, definitely. We passed on him too to take Jalen Reagor.
Well, everyone passed on Patrick Queen.
We passed on Kenneth Murray too. Now at least we have Nate Gary, right?
Well, he's hurt. Hopefully he's hurt the rest of the season.
And TJ Edwards too.
Yeah. We have Duke Riley traded for him, and anyway.
Well, wait, they do. Is Rookie of the Year based on conference?
One offense, one defense.
Is it a whole league or is it conference?
Whole league.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I think it's gonna be Herbert and Patrick Queen.
I have Burrow and Queen written down.
Burrow's, he's definitely gonna be up there too.
I think it's gonna be Herbert just because I think the Chargers are gonna finish better than the Bengals, obviously.
I think Burrow will at least finish top 2 in the voting.
100%.
Yeah, top 2.
But Burrow does have a bigger name coming out of school than Herbert does, so you gotta take that into consideration.
Yeah, but they're both what?
He's gonna have more stats just because Justin Herbert didn't play those first 2 games.
Yeah, that too.
Mm-hmm.
That too.
Yeah, Burrow's thrown for over 300 yards like in 3 or 4 games already. So.
And he's gonna have to because they're just gonna be down. So it's the same reason that my prediction was Dak to lead the league in yards before the year because I just knew they were going to be down all the time and he's got to throw. So that's why. But the Chargers are going to be down a lot too. So.
Right.
Definitely.
Let's move to coaches of the year.
Yeah. Okay. So I have Mike Vrabel. I think that. I mean, the reason I put him is because if you look at the top teams, it's going to be Andy Reid, John Harbaugh, and
Pete Carroll.
Yeah,
Pete Carroll, Mike Tomlin. They're all Bruce Arians. They're all like proven guys. Like they're not going to get coached either. So I think it's between Mike Vrabel and Matt LaFleur.
I think it's going to be Vrabel.
I think Vrabel is just he's a much bigger story than LaFleur is. I think it's more focused on Aaron Rodgers out in Green Bay.
Titans are easily one of the best coached teams.
I think that an underdog and coach, depending on how the team finishes, is Kingsbury. And
I was just going to say him, Cliff Kingsbury.
I think if the Arizona Cardinals somehow finish the year second in the West and win 11, 12 games, whether that's possible or not, I think it's definitely plausible for him to win it as well. I mean,
he in a situation like that, if the Cardinals win, 11, 12 games, he's got to get the win.
100%.
I think Vrabel's the safe bet, but I think Kingsbury could be considered as well. Just it all depends how the Cardinals finish. Obviously, I think the Titans are going to finish first in the South, and they're going to be good enough. I think it all just depends on what the Cardinals can do.
Yeah.
I think Kingsbury will finish high in the voting for sure.
I think he could be second, but
just because of the complete 180 they've made this season too.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most improved teams,
especially in the front office too. The moves they made.
Yeah,
made some very good moves. I don't know why they don't play Isaiah Simmons more, but they haven't.
Defensive player of the year.
JP, should we do comeback player of the year first? Since that was defensive.
Yeah. I didn't think of that one.
Yeah, for comeback player of the year, I think this one's going to be pretty unanimous. I got Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
I mean, Steelers going to win, 12 games minimum. So
right,
not even a question.
Yeah, no, easy. It's got to be a big Ben.
The only other person who was even in the conversation, in my opinion, was Cam, and he's out of that conversation now.
It's got to be Ben. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
defensive player of the year.
I got Myles Garrett.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I definitely could see it being Myles Garrett. I'm pretty sure. I don't think he's on pace, but I could easily see him getting closer to upwards of 20 sacks this year.
Yeah.
Right.
Most likely finish probably around 16 or 17, but he's.
I think he's got 9 now, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a monster.
Yeah.
He's got a sack every game except 1 week.
The other name that comes to mind is T.J. Watt.
Yes.
T.J. Watt, yeah.
I think it's going to be between those two. I
don't think you can count out Aaron Donald either, just because he's Aaron Donald.
As soon as I said that, Aaron Donald popped in my mind.
Yeah, so
yeah.
I just feel like Aaron Donald's not as talked about. I mean, the Rams' defense is pretty underrated this year, and
voter fatigue would come in with Aaron Donald too, because he's won.
Yeah.
Good point.
That too.
Good point. Are we at MVP now?
Offensive Player of the Year.
All right. Yeah.
So I got Alvin Kamara.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably. I don't know what his yards look like right now.
I think he's going to lead the league in scrimmage yards by a wide margin.
Yeah. I mean, if Christian McCaffrey had played, I think that it would have been a race between McCaffrey and Kamara for that.
Yeah, and not to be that guy, but McCaffrey was absolutely robbed of the award last year.
Yeah, definitely. You're not wrong.
I think
Thomas got it, and that just still doesn't sit right with me, but...
Well, yeah, McCaffrey, did he have 2,000 scrimmage yards last year?
Yeah, he had 1,000 and 100 catches.
Exactly. It should have been
McCaffrey.
Well, in Mike Thomas's defense, and I hate him as much as everybody else, but he did have a record-breaking season.
Yeah,
so
that's the only reason I feel like they gave it to him, because he caught 149 passes. So.
The slants.
If they didn't give it to him, there would have been a massive outcry, and Mike Thomas would probably still be crying about it. So.
And I don't know if is Kamara on pace to have 2,000. I think his rushing yards are a lot less than McCaffrey.
I don't think to have 1,000, but I don't know about 2,000 total.
Yeah, well, Kamara or McCaffrey last year didn't have a guy like Latavius Murray behind him either.
I had before the
10 touches.
Sorry, I had before the season began. I had McCaffrey winning this award.
Yeah, definitely. And when he comes back, he's going to be ridiculous.
At this point, I would say it's between Kamara, Kyler Murray, and Russ.
Yeah, probably. I think they're going to leave the MVP to the quarterbacks, honestly. So I think it'll end up being Kamara.
That leads me into my MVP choice, Russell Wilson.
Absolutely, I think so too.
I'm same boat.
I think the only one that could really put up a fight for it is Kyler.
And Aaron Rodgers, I would say.
And Aaron Rodgers, yeah, but he already had one rough game.
Yeah.
So it's come to see if there's going to be more.
Wilson has been pretty flawless throughout the season.
It's tough. I mean, I think it sucks when it comes to MVP that it's always the quarterback. I mean, I know it makes sense that they're the most valuable player. I just think that.
Yeah.
Last time a quarterback didn't win MVP, I believe, was 2012, Adrian Peterson.
2012.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
When's the last time? Has a wide receiver ever won MVP?
No, I don't
think so.
Wow.
Kicker won.
There have been a very small handful of defensive players.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I know I'm a big Kyler fanboy, but the fact he's even in that conversation is year two, it's really looking up for him.
Yeah,
100%.
I think even before the season would have started, I didn't make a list of who I thought was winning what award, but I probably when I saw D-Hop come to Arizona, after the year he had last year and the improvements Arizona made, I could definitely see him making that push. But I just think there's no chance that Russell Wilson doesn't finally get one.
Yeah, right. Unless he slows down at all, which he shows no signs of.
Yeah,
I keep forgetting Russell Wilson still hasn't won an MVP.
Yeah, that's another big story. He hasn't won one yet, so they might just give him one.
He's never even gotten a vote.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Although I hate to say it, but a real sleeper for MVP would have to be Tom Brady. If the Bucs win 13 or 14 games, and maybe Seattle finishes around 11 or 12 wins.
Yeah,
I would have to agree with you.
Well, Tom Brady's always going to be in that discussion just because he's Tom Brady.
He's having a great year.
He is having a great year, actually.
Yeah, definitely.
Got a lot of weapons around him too.
Probably the most weapons.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think he's had an offense like this ever, to be honest. He had Randy Moss, but I don't know who else he really had on that offense, and he was ridiculous that year. So he's got a lot. He's got more options this year than he's ever had.
Yeah.
All right, we got anything else?
I got nothing.
No.
Go Eagles.
Go Eagles.
Birds. All right, fellas. Thank you for coming on.
Yes, sir.
I'll definitely have to have you on for a fantasy football special part 2.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Good luck this week in fantasy football. I'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks, P.
I'll see you later.
See ya. Thank you for listening. Check back next week for the next episode of Collegeville Conversation. As always, I'm your host, Jason Phelan. Thank you for listening, and have a good one.